Our last video looked at comparing the health status of Australia and other developed countries, but this video looks specifically at groups within Australia. Let's start by answering this question from a VCE exam. Explain how lifestyle and behaviour may impact on the variations in health status between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Victorians. When answering questions like this, there are 4 population distinctions that you should be made aware of. Males compared with females, higher socioeconomic groups compared with lower socioeconomic groups, rural and remote populations compared to metropolitan populations, and Indigenous populations compared to non-Indigenous populations. Each of these distinctions tends to have an unbalanced weighting of health status. For example, those living in the city tend to have a superior health status to those living in rural and remote areas. As when comparing Australia with other developed countries, VCE may give you data to work with to compare the health status of these population distinctions. For example, the 2014 exam gave a graph that showed the life expectancy of males and females in Australia over time. But back to the problem at hand. This question is worth 2 marks. One of those marks will be for explaining the impact of lifestyle on health, such as Indigenous Australians tend to have higher rates of alcohol and substance abuse than non-Indigenous Australians. Substance abuse is likely to result in reduced physical health. The efficiency of the body and its systems will likely suffer. And the second mark will be for linking that back to explain the difference in health status between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Victorians. We could say something like, as a result, it is likely that life expectancy will decrease and burden of disease will increase, partially explaining the variation in health status between Indigenous and non-Indigenous populations. Note that this question actually came with stimulus material that could have been used in your response, but many similar questions will not. Bye for now and happy studying.